All right. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash.
All right.
Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is basically prepare. This is something that came to mind earlier when I got up, and I just wrote it down. A couple of precepts came to mind, and I went and typed in prepare in the search engine, for the Bible, and many different scriptures came up, and there's different applications of the word prepared. This one we're gonna, Lord's will concentrate on being prepared and the Lord preparing things for us. When you look up this word prepare, the word prepare is make something ready for use or consideration. So a preparation is to do it before, to like when you have a chef, he has something known as a sous chef, and then you have a prep team. And the prep team, what they do is when the chef comes in, all he has to do is just slap stuff together, cook it, The prep team, the sous chef, what their job is to do is make sure everything is done. The onions are chopped, whether finely or rough or whatever the case is. The garlic is minced. All of the different vegetables are washed and, cut up. The meat is, all prepped and ready to go. And all the chef has to do is just grab the meat and the ingredients and the seasoning and all that and slap it together and cook it. So that's what it means to prepare. Make something ready for use or consideration. And we're being made ready right now, for salvation, which is the marriage supper of the Lamb, which I just finished watching all the Apostle Gabar's video while I was getting ready to do this lesson, and that's the Spirit was on him to go into the marriage, and when you read Revelation 19, it speaks about the marriage supper of the Lamb, so this is the preparation. It says make someone ready or able to do or deal with something. See, because ultimately what we're doing is rehearsing the righteous acts. Let's go real quick to Judges chapter 5 and verse 11. Okay, going to Jude. Okay, Judges 5 and 11. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers, who are they that are delivered? The elect of the nation of Israel. What is the noise of the archers? Because the archer, the reason why you have an archer is because they can be clandestine. You can't hear an arrow coming, unless your sense of hearing is that sharp, But the noise of archers is talking about the nuclear missiles. In the places of drawing water, meaning in the places with an S of drawing water. Drawing water is a representation of slavery. There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. And the word rehearsal is to recount, meaning tell things that are in the scriptures, speak about prophecies that are in the scriptures, but also rehearse is when you're getting ready for a big play or a big movie or a big concert or whatever the case is, and you rehearse, meaning you're saying your lines or you're saying your lyrics or your your songs or your hooks or whatever the case is prior to you actually performing on the stage. So that's where we're at. We're in the rehearsal stage. So I also looked up the word prepared. It says make ready for use. See, so remember we used the analogy of the chef, his sous chef, and the prep team getting things ready. So when the chef steps into the kitchen, he doesn't have to do anything but cook because it's already made ready for the use. It says ready to do or deal with something. And right now, what's happening right now is the elect of the nation of Israel, the ones that are taking heed, are being prepared to deal with something. And what is that something that we're being prepared to deal with? Jacob's trouble, which you have these clowns out there scoffing at, calling Jacob's trouble gay. Why? Because they are those foolish shepherds, which we're gonna get that. But before we go there, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 14, because this is the job of a leader. The job of a leader. The job of a um, shepherd is to warn. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. I'm sorry, 1 Corinthians 14 and 7. Let's select it 1 second. And shalom to any of the sincere brothers that's on watching. And shalom to the Akwath also that are sincere. The very few that are left. So 1 Corinthians 14:7. And even things without life-giving sound, whether pipe or harp, except they give a distinction in the sounds, how shall it be known what is piped or harp? Right, because you know when the individual knows how to play an instrument, because you can give somebody a headache playing that thing if you don't know how to play. Inside joke. But when somebody picks up an instrument or somebody sits at a piano or something, from the very moment that they start playing, this person knows what they're doing, because it sounds good, it sounds harmonious, it sounds pleasant. And then they normally, when people don't have their own stuff to play, they usually do covers, and those covers, is something that they rehearsed or practiced or prepared themselves for, so that when they go before the audience can be in amazement of how beautiful the song is that they were playing. So that's the same thing, with this truth. When we go to Matthew 11 and 16, it says, but whereunto shall I liken this generation, meaning this generation that we're living in now with Jake, because this is the same generation that was back during the time of Yahushua. It says, it is like unto children sitting in the markets. See, and what are the markets? The agora, with the places where people buy and sell, and this is the main place of concourse where the truth is taught at, and calling unto their fellows. So what we're doing out there is we're singing. This is a song, and we're calling out to the fellows out there, like Yahushua said, go out to the highways and lanes, and pretty much teach this word and bid them to the marriage. You see, it says, and saying, we have piped unto you. Yeah, we're singing our hearts out to you, and you have not danced. See, you ain't moving to the tune of this song. It says, we have mourned unto you, and you have not lamented. Yeah, so they're not listening. They're not bopping their head to the tune. They're not getting involved. They're not remorseful. They're not repenting or repentative. So what is the Lord going to do to them? He's going to destroy them, pursuant to Proverbs, the 1st chapter, where wisdom was crying without, and they didn't take heed to this message, right? So when we go back, and even things without life-giving sound, whether pipe or harp, except they give a distinction in the sounds, how shall it be known what is piped or harp? Right, because this message is a message that is supposed to be brought out in a way where you're giving Jake warning, and they have no excuse. What did Yahushua said? If I had not come, they had no excuse, no cloak. It says, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? So so if you see the enemy coming, right, and you know that there's impending danger upon Israel, and you grab the trumpet and you start blowing, a song of mirth, what do you think the people are going to do? They're going to sing and they're going to dance to mirth when impending danger is coming their way. So this is those foolish virgins out there, that the IUICs and the ISUPKs and other groups out there that are piping mirth to the congregation, and the congregation is not being prepared. They're not taking things seriously, because their leaders, they're the watchers that are supposed to be watching, The virgins that are supposed to be warning them are foolish. They're playing games. They're not taking it serious. It says, so likewise ye, except you utter by the tongue words easy to be understood, how shall it be known? How shall it be known what is spoken? For you shall speak into the air. Right. So supposed to give them the proper understanding. You see, it says, so likewise, ye, except you utter from the tongue words easy to be understood, how shall it be known what is spoken? Yeah. Let's look up this word understood real quick before I go to the next precept. The word for understood, usamos, well marked, clear and definite, distinct. Yeah. So it's a distinction. It's like, look, this is some serious business that's coming. What do the scriptures speak about? It speaks about lamentations and mourning and woe. It speaks about the time of Jacob's trouble. Talks about a time, speaks about a time, of trouble such as was never since. It speaks about the tribulation, that's coming. It speaks about the hour of temptation, so on and so forth. So if you're not making that clear, what do you think the people are going to prepare for? They're going to prepare for festivities, which all of these different camps are in a festive spirit when they should be in a mourning type spirit or in a repetitive type spirit, or in a waiting to be delivered type spirit. But what do? They dismiss that. Oh, you just you in prison, just do your time. You wait worried about your release date. Just do your time. No, you're supposed to be hastening the day. Scripture say the captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed. So let's read that again and let's move on to the next scripture. So likewise ye, except you utter by the tongue words to be words easy to be understood, how shall it be known what is spoken? For you shall speak into the air. Because the ultimate task of the shepherd is what? To prepare the sheep for what's coming. And the word prepared, make ready for use, ready to do or deal with something. And what is this something that the people are being prepared for? The Jacob's trouble, which the IACPK calls it gay. Jacob's trouble is gay, which I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but it is what it is. And if you don't like the F-bomb, then hey, keep it moving. All right, let's go to Ezekiel 3:17. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. So this thing is about being a watchman. You have guys out there that are teaching this for filthy lucre's sake, for money's sake, for fame's sake, for status sake, just because they like the limelight, they like to hear themselves talk, they like to read comments when people say, "Oh wow, you see how this brother just went off? He just did this, he did that, and the other. He confounded this individual. He confounded this Edomite. He had the Edomite standing on his head. He had the Edomite kneeling on one knee and then licking the bottom of his boot." That's what they're in this for. They're not in this to be a watchman. They're not in this for salvation. To them, it's just a passing thing. And all of these leaders outside of Great Millstone are settled on their lees. See? Because they're not really giving you the warning. And here it is, we're giving you the warning, and the Spirit got us waking you up, and they're putting you back to sleep. But guess what? The ones that go back to sleep, you're meant to be asleep. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth, which was the word of the Most High's mouth. These words that are in this book. He said, I will give you passages according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. What is a warning? A warning is a mental preparation, verbal to mental preparation to get ready for what's to come. Because something vicious is coming down the pike. So the word warning is the word zahar, to admonish. See, what is admonish? Correction, warn, teach, shine, send out light, be shining. Why? Because the wise virgins have the oil, and they're shining the oil and that light upon the path that you should walk, because only one a man can walk there at a time. It says to be taught, be admonished. And the word admonished, once again, means to correct, to teach, warn, to shine, send out light. So what should a watchman be doing? Warning. Warning about what? The impending dangers that are coming, and to get ready to meet the Lamb. Because the Lamb is coming. And the Lamb ain't he's coming to deliver his elect, but he's coming with wrath. Scriptures speak about the elite hiding and telling those shelters that they're going to be running into, hide us from the wrath of the Lamb. And from him, from him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Because Yahushua is coming for vengeance, man. So these guys are not warning the people for what's coming. Now let's go from there to Isaiah, because in essence, what is the warning going to do for the person that hears and takes heed? Is going to give them the mental fortitude to stand in these times, because they listen and they prepared. Right? Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. Not no guns, not no preparations, whatever the case is. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So this is what's going to save us. The knowledge and wisdom of this truth, which is going to be the strength of our salvation. Finally, brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Now, is there anything wrong with storing up a little bit of food if you need it? No. If you have the means to do it, then by all means. No, because at the end of the day, we're given this warning of things that are coming, and if you have, a little extra to put aside a little something for just in case when shit hit the fan, just until we reach that plateau, so to speak, then so be it. But if you don't have it, don't worry about it. You still be taken care of, So now let's go from there to the book of Ezekiel 13:4. It says, "O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert." Yeah, because all they care about is themselves. That's what the scriptures speak about, that they serve their own belly. They're not concerned with what the Lord wants. You got some leaders talking about that you're wicked if you're keeping the high holy days, the laws done away with. You got others that should allow the congregation to keep the Passover. Like in this year was rough for the Passover, and the Spirit of the Lord allowed us to keep our Passover, because we keep our Passover according to the new moons. That's how we keep our calendar. Now these other individuals that kept their Passover around the time that the so-called Jews keep it, guess what? A lot of them didn't get a chance to keep it. I'm not sure of all of them, but some of them didn't get a chance to keep it. So in a case like that, what you should have done was tell the congregation to keep it themselves. And if they didn't know what to do, just set up some prayers, read some psalms, and pray over the food, and then eat your lamb, bitter herbs, and your wine, and the unleavened bread. But no. So they're like the foxes in the desert, because that whole Passover thing is nothing but a money-making racket. It's a money-making racket. That's when all the money comes in, and then guess who gets all that money? The guys that it comes to. And they buy the food and the provisions and stuff like that, which don't cost a whole lot, and they pocket the rest. So it's a big money-making racket. That's why we here told brother, look, you keep your own Passovers. It makes it easier, and it's a smaller congregation. And the scriptures speak about that. When we came out of Egypt, when our forefathers came out of Egypt, what happened? They kept the Passover by themselves. And if you had a lamb and your household was too small, then you and another household would keep it. But for the most part, everybody kept the Passover separate. And throughout those 40 years in the wilderness, it was kept separate. It was kept by each family. It says you have not gone up into the gaps. And some of these leaders, they don't even go out in the streets anymore. They graduated above. They're too good for going to the into the streets. They leave it to the younger men that came up under them to do it, and they don't go out there anymore. The Lord's going to visit you for that. Scriptures say, blessed is that servant whom when his Lord cometh shall find so doing. It says, you have not gone up to gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So they're not preparing Jake. They didn't verbally give him the warning so they can set up that hedge for what's coming. Instead, they'll tell you Jacob's trouble is gay, like the ISUPK, or like the IUIC that said there's no such thing as Jacob's trouble, when it's written clear as day in the scriptures. All right, now let's go from there to one more, and then we'll get some of these other scriptures to be prepared. Let's go to Zechariah 11 and 15 to the end. And the Lord said unto me, take unto thee yet the instruments of a foolish shepherd. And that's what these guys are. They're foolish shepherds, foolish virgins, foolish shepherds. The spiritual man is mad. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off. See, and they're not, how are they not visiting them? By not warning them of what's coming. Neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken. Yeah, because scriptures speak about comforting my people. Comfort ye my people, which that's the next scripture we're going to read. But they're not healing the broken. And instead, they're telling them to be here for the long haul. They're giving them that's those smooth things. You know, they're encouraging them to just be in that laid back party spirit. That's why, you know, look, there's nothing wrong with getting together with brothers. You know, you want to drink some yayan or whatever you drink, you know, listen to some music, dance, you know, sing, rap. If you want to do that, that's fine, but just don't put that on camera. It's not wicked to do that, but don't, because when you put that on camera and you put that out there for the people to see, what do you think they're going to take away from that? Especially people that are young in the faith, just coming in, or people that are looking, you know, and just don't really know much about Israel, and they're, you know, starting to wake up. They're going to take the attitude of wanting to come into this thing because they think it's a big party. No, man, you have this thing. You have to give them the seriousness, the graveness, you know, of this, you know, because it's serious business that's coming down the pike. Neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still. Yeah, because when Jake is out there standing still, they're not being fed. You know, you're supposed to come into this thing and you're supposed to eat. Proverbs the 9th chapter. But he shall eat the flesh of the fat and tear their claws in pieces. Yeah, because they're serving their own belly. It says, woe to the idle shepherd, because they are idle. Let's see, the word idle should be idols. Alayal, of naught, good for nothing, worthless. See, worthless shepherd. Woe to the worthless shepherds, of physicians, a shepherd, a divination, of false gods. So you have the false gods, which are idle. But then you have also, because the idol is something that you worship. So you have these shepherds that are in these high positions, and they're treated as their gods, being worshipped, but they're worthless. It says, woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. So the Lord is going to destroy them. You know, they're going to keep playing to that day, because you got to have, everybody got to play their role. Everybody got to play their role. They have to play their role. Now let's get into this, the prepared part of it, which that's part of it anyway. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 40 and verses 1. It says, comfort ye, my people, say of your power. So how are you supposed to comfort Israel? With these words, you know, telling them, look, we know that we've been through hardships and hard times, but there's a reward coming. There's a kingdom coming. That's a part of the comfort. But you also have to let them know what to expect on this road. It says, speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished. Yeah, your warfare is accomplished, you know, but there is a time of Jacob's trouble that's coming. And if you do the right thing, if you are moved by the Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua through the Holy Spirit, Bashem Rachakodash, then you will be in safety. from all of this all this turmoil that's gonna happen around the world. Because wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. To be stable in something means you're unmovable. Why? Because you were prepared, made ready for use, ready to do or deal with something. And it begins mentally. That her iniquity is pardoned, for she have received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Yeah, because we caught hell, man. Now it's time for the reward. But there's going to be a little turbulence before the reward gets here. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, which just goes back to John the Baptist, which is Elijah, which came back in this time as Elder Abba Bivens, for those that can receive it, because he brought all of this back to the knowledge of the children of Israel through the Spirit. Prepare the way of the Lord, and that's what's happening. The way of the Lord was what is already prepared. So what we're supposed to do, we're supposed to keep that legacy going in preparation, to give to feed, Jake, because Jake is going the wrong way. The word is there, prepare is panah, to turn toward or from or away, to turn and do, to turn decline of day. So to turn, why is that? Now let's go to the 30th chapter, Isaiah 30 and 20. It says, and though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the waters of affliction, meaning catching hell, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. So if your eyes are going to see your teachers, the Lord said he will give you pastors according to his heart that will feed you with knowledge and understanding to get you prepared for what's coming. It says, and thine eyes shall hear a word behind you. So if you are walking down the street, right, and you hear somebody calling you, and they're behind you, what are you going to do? You're going to turn around to see who that person is. So what this is dealing with Jake walking down the wrong path, and the shepherds calling him, say, yo, you're going the wrong way. And Jake turning around, and most of them are going to wave their hands, say, the hell with you, I'm going to keep going down this way. But some are going to turn back around and go back towards that word, that's speaking to them. It says, and thine ear shall hear a word behind you saying, this is the way. Walk ye in it when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. And that's what the word prepared means, to turn back, to turn around. Because obviously the way of this world is not right with the Lord. And they basically, as the saying goes, they're cruising for a bruising. So it says, the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare you the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our power. And that's what's happening. This happened back then, 2,000 years ago with John the Baptist, and it happened again in this time. And in this time, back then he was actually in the wilderness, in the desert. But now, Elijah, John the Baptist, Elder Abba Bivens, he was also in the desert, because America is that desert, is that wilderness, and the way is being prepared again. And there was no other man that did that, just teaching what's being taught today. Because you had many different rabbis, different Israelites back then, mostly the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, possibly Levi, that were into the commandment keepers, and all of them Jakes that were following the so-called Jews back then. But they were all just Old Testament heads, just into the Old Testament. It wasn't until Elder Abba Bivens that he started going into the New Testament, because the Spirit moved him for what? To prepare the way, to bring to turn the fathers' hearts to the children, and the children to the fathers. All right. So now let's go from there to Malachi 3:1. It says, behold, I will send my messenger. Who is this messenger? This is dealing with John the Baptist back then. And this time, Elder Abba Bivens, if you will receive it. And he shall prepare the way before me. Let me see if they have the same word for prepare. Yep, panah. And he shall prepare the way before me. And that's what's happening. So in the preparation, you have to lay out the instructions of what to do. It says, and the Lord whom ye seek, which is Yahushai, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai of hosts. Yeah, because at the end, when he came back 2,000 years ago, he came to suffer for us. This time he's coming back to get vengeance and to redeem the purchased possession, which are the elect of the nation of Israel. Now let's move on from there to Psalms, the 10th chapter and the 17th verse. It says, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. See? And how is the heart of the children being prepared right now? Well, let's go to Jeremiah. We quoted it, but let's go and read it. Jeremiah 3:15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And what did Yahushai tell Peter? Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep and feed my lambs. You see? So going back, Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou will prepare their heart. Thou will cause thine ear to hear. Yeah, because the Lord is doing this for his word's sake, and he hears the cry of Jake, especially the elect. All right. Now let's go from there. Same book of Psalms. We got a couple. I'm sorry. You know what? Let's go to Proverbs real quick. Proverbs 16:1. Because right here it just said that thou will cause thine ear to hear. Thou will prepare their heart. See? Thou will cause thine ear to hear, because in order for the Lord to bring the destruction, everything has to be fulfilled. And a part of that fulfillment is what? The preparation of the hearts of the elect. So Proverbs 16:1, the preparation of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because the scriptures say, with the heart, which is the mind, man believes, and with the tongue, confession is made unto salvation. See? So it's about believing and teaching. You know, those that are destined to be the teachers. And this is dealing for the men, you know, those that are destined to be teachers. So going back to the book of Psalms, let's go to Psalms 23:4. Hey, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, which the valley of the shadow of death is America, I will fear no evil, because there's going to be a bad time or bad times that will happen in this place. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. What is the rod and the staff? This truth, this Bible, because the rod and the staff is used for what? For correction. On the sheep, when the sheep are going astray, you bop them a little bit and you bring them back to the right path. So it's thy rod and thy staff, which is your truth, they comfort me. Why? Because this is the comforter. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. And what is the table that's prepared? The table that's prepared is this truth. You know, because this truth is comparable to that. You know, remember, it's the marriage supper of the Lamb. So you have a table. When you have a supper, you just don't. I mean, unless you know, if the Passover you stood up, you were eating standing up. But usually, when you have a supper, you have a tablecloth. You know, you have the different your utensils, your plates, cups, and all of that. You know, then you have your wine, your water, you know, whatever else you put on it, you know, your lamb, your trimmings and all of that. So that's what this knowledge is like. It's like a well prepared dinner, succulent dinner. It says, thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, because King David would be classified as one of the wise virgins. My cup runneth over. The cup runneth over with what? With this knowledge. Yahushua said, he that believeth on me, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Yeah, because he took heed and he did the things that were right in the Lord. But even greater than that, the Lord put the Spirit on him. Remember, we read about the preparation of the heart in man, and the answer from the tongue is from the Lord. All right. It says, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Beautiful. Because ultimately, that's what we're looking forward to, which is everlasting life. Now, let's go from there to Psalms, same book of Psalms, 68, and straight to the point, 10. Thy congregation hath dwelt therein. Thou, O Most High, hast prepared of thy goodness for the poor. So the Most High has prepared of his goodness for the poor, which is this knowledge, which will lead to what? To the kingdom of heaven. All right, now let's go from there to Isaiah 54. Try to get through some of these precepts quick because I got to get ready to roll out for camp. Isaiah 54:13. It says, and all thy children shall be taught of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And this is what's happening. And eventually in the kingdom, all of Israel will know. And great shall be the peace of thy children. Yeah, because that's the comfort. That's the comforting words that eventually there's going to be, there's going to be a kingdom that's prepared for us. And great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression. And this is what we're looking forward to. That's what the scriptures say. The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed. So how could it be, how can Jacob's trouble be gay? How could you wanting to get out of here and be delivered and want Yahweh Shai to come here sooner to deliver us? How can that be off? That's scriptural. But these guys serve their own belly. Anyway, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Reading on, it says, behold, they shall surely gather together, meaning Esau, the other nations, and even 2/3 of Israel, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. That's right. So now, why? Because the Lord said that this knowledge is going to be the stability of our times and strength of salvation. Now let's go to Isaiah 62:6. I'm going to read to the end. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. Suppose they keep blowing that trumpet and give him no rest. Who no rest? The Most High. Till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth, because it's the Lord that's going to set everything back up into power. It's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that's going to bring us back to the land. It says, the Lord hath sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength, surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thy enemies. And the sons of strangers shall not drink thy wine, for the which thou hast labored, but they that have gathered it shall eat it, and praise the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And they that have brought it together shall drink it in the courts of my holiness. And this is what we're moving towards. Why? Because this is what's prepared for the elect and eventually for all Israel. So it says, go through the gates, prepare ye the way of the people. Why? Because the gates is a representation of the leaders. Prepare ye the way of the people, because the leaders are the ones that's going to prepare the way through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Cast up the highway. So there's a highway that's made. It says, gather out the stones. And who are the stones? The Israelites. It says, lift up a standard for the people. What is the standard? These scriptures, this message of salvation for the nation of Israel. Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. How did he do that? By the way of the internet. This word is going out. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. See? Not sit down and get ready for the long haul, or don't worry about your release date, or Jacob's trouble is gay. No. Your salvation cometh. And then the scriptures say that when you see all these things happening, lift up your head, for your salvation draweth nigh. But these guys will tell you, no, you just go sit in the corner and wait, just wait out your time. But ultimately we have to wait, of course, but the Lord said, hasten the day. And for somebody to say something like that in this fucking hellhole, that means that they're comfortable. It says, behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the holy people. Why? Because the Most High is sanctifying us once again. The redeemed. In order to be redeemed, bought back, you have to have been a part of it before. If you have a voucher for a particular product in a store, you're not going to be able to use that voucher to redeem anything else but that product. So Yahweh Shai is coming back to redeem who? The holy people. Who are the holy people in the scriptures? The Israelites. That's what they're known as the saints. The redeemed of the Lord and thou shalt be called sought out, a city not forsaken. Why? Because the Lord is searching Jerusalem with candles right now, and he's only gathering the elect. A city not forsaken, because not all Israel is going to be forsaken, because there's a remnant left. Now let's go from there to Isaiah 64. I might not be able to get through all these precepts. And now Satan. Here we go with Satan. Isaiah 64:4. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither hath eye seen, O Most High beside thee, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. See? And the ones that wait are the ones that love the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Matthew 25:34. It says, then shall the king say unto them, this is the Most High, on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father. I'm sorry, Salaki, that's Yahushai. Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. And the prophet, it says that the prophets have inquired diligently when Yahushai should suffer, and the glory that shall be revealed afterwards. Come on, man. The prophets back then were hastening the day. So you mean to tell me that they were gay? It's a fucking nerve of some of these fucking guys, these fucking reprobates, man. My goodness. John 14:3. And if I go and prepare a place, matter of fact, I started 2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. See? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Yeah, because he also said that your hearts are sorrowful now because I'm leaving, but then but they will rejoice later, in so many words, because Yahushua would be back. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 2. Like I said, I'm trying to get through these precepts. It's not a whole lot, but you know. Let's see, 2nd Ezra 2:13. It says, behold, the days come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. No, that's 12. It's 2 and 12. I'm sorry, 13, right? Salaki, man. Salaki, brothers. Yep, 13. Go and ye shall receive. Pray for few days. Not go sit down somewhere and do your time. Don't worry about your release date. Pray for few days unto you, that they may be shortened. And notice, all that shit they were talking, they didn't bring out scriptures on it. It's just vain, empty talk out of their own vain, puffed up mind. Go and you shall receive. Pray for few days unto you, that they may be shortened. See, the kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. So if you're watching, that doesn't mean you're going to go sit somewhere and do your time. You're watching for what? For when is this going to take place? Even the disciples asked you, how shall I, when shall be the sign of that coming of the end of the world? My goodness. Take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broken the evil in pieces, and this place is already falling. It says, and created the good, for I live, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that's why we hasten for the destruction of this wicked world. For what? So that the one in righteousness could be established. How is that wicked? How is that evil? Let's go to the same book, 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, and verse 50. It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world. Come on, man. Time of Jacob's trouble. But no, time of Jacob's trouble, that's gay. Because they have walked in great pride. But understand out for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. Who? The elect. For unto you is paradise open, meaning the kingdom. The tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. Plenteousness is made ready. A city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten, meaning into the grave. Sorrows are past, And in the end, it showed the treasure of immortality. So that's why we hasten the day to get here. All right, now let's go from there to Romans 9. Romans 9 and 23. Almost done. It says, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy which he hath afore prepared unto glory. And that's what the vessels of mercy are waiting for, the preparation of glory, which is the kingdom of heaven. Now let's go from there to 2 Timothy, because we are the vessels. We are the temple of the Lord. 2 Timothy 2 and 21. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. So in order for you to be meet, or in order for us to be meet, we have to be prepared. We have to be sanctified. And how is the sanctification coming? Through this truth. Yahweh Shai told the disciples, now are you clean through the words which I have spoken. Think about it. Now, let's go from there to Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 11. There's 2 verses there. Verse 7. It says, by faith Noah, being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house. See? And the Lord is preparing a spiritual ark now, by the which he condemned the world. Why? Because he prepared, he feared the Lord. He made the preparations, but the world didn't. They just sat there mocking him, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. 16 verse, but now they desire a better country, that is in heavenly, wherefore the Most High is not ashamed to be called their power, for he hath prepared for them a city. And this is what we're waiting for, the kingdom of heaven. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra. This time let's go to the 13th chapter and the 25th verse. It says, this is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea, the same is he whom the Most High, the highest, hath kept a great season. See, so Yahweh Shai has been sitting up there for a little bit. To us, it seems like forever. You know, it says, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. Let's jump down to the 35th verse. It says, but he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, which is Yahweh Shai. And that chariot, that big chariot of that mountain, the chariot, that also is a representation of the nation of Israel. It says, but he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. You see? So that chariot he came on is also a representation of the nation of Israel. And this, my son, shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which is all their missiles, the technology, their their lasers, all of that. It says, which for the nuclear missiles, which for their wicked life are falling into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, because they thought to do harm to the children of the Lord, but it's going to return back upon their own head. And the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto me. So the Lord is coming back to take these devils down and to deliver his elect. And the last precept I have is in the book of Revelation 21. Just read the 1st and 2nd verse. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Meaning the new heaven and the new earth means it's the same heaven, the same earth, but it's going to be established upon, with righteousness. It says, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, come down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So pretty much what he saw, he actually saw a city come down, but that's a representation of the nation of Israel being cleaned up again, being refreshed, New Jerusalem, being refreshed. It's the same people, but being refreshed, refurbished, refined. Bodies change, but the same spirit is in them. Coming down from heaven, adorned, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband, meaning decked out. Okay? And the children, man, we forget about it, man. You don't know how much of decked out we're gonna be. What the hell? What's your boggle? DeAndre Wilson. What the fuck? What the fuck? What? All right. So that's how it's gonna be. Like, people think, that when you dress in the fashion of this world, that, oh man, they was dressed so fine. They was, they were dressed to a T. Nah, that ain't shit. That's sackcloth compared to how the kingdom is gonna be. So pretty much that's it for me. I gotta get ready to roll out. So with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified. Until the next time I say shalom. And the hell with you scoffers, man. May the Lord destroy every last one of you. Fucking scoffers coming in here. You don't know what the fuck is going on. What the fuck? Just shut the fuck up, man. Shalom, Akim.